The United Nations calls for action this year to counter climate disasters. The United Nations Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres, called for action in 2021 to avert the worst impacts of climate change. Countries around the world suffered numerous climate disasters last year, while at the same time they were struggling to contain the spread of the deadly COVID-19 virus. The climate disasters included severe tropical storms, drought, wildfires and the melting of Arctic ice. The World Meteorological Organization said in a report that climate conditions were the worst in 2020, which it believed were the result of human activities. The report showed an alarming rise of temperatures of 1.2 degrees Celsius that are hotter than pre-industrial times and getting close to the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit set by the scientific community.
This is a frightening report, and it needs to be read by all leaders and decision makers in the world. 2020 was an unprecedented year for people and the planet. It was dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic. This must be the year for action, the make it or break it year.
The United Nations Secretary-General called for taking measures before the Conference of Parties on Climate Change known as COP26 will take place in Glasgow in November. Countries are urged to commit themselves to a net zero carbon emissions and for them to submit to nationally determined contributions, NDC, to the 2015 Paris Agreement for the next 10 years. The NDCs are climate plans to be adopted by countries that have signed up with that agreement. Guterres asked developed countries to deliver on climate finance for the developing world. Particularly the promise of $100 billion a year and subsidies to polluting fossil fuels must be shifted to renewable energy. Developed countries were also asked to lead in phasing out use of coal for energy by 2030. Public and private financial institutions should ensure that they fund sustainable and resilient development for all and move away from a grey and inequitable economy. To stay up to date with the latest news on the United Nations and the world, make sure to subscribe to this Facebook account by clicking the button above this video. See you next time.